Hello and welcome to this little unboxing and review of a Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa action figure. Now this is probably the first time you've seen my face on this particular channel, but you'll find lots of past unboxings over on the main channel of Cosmic Toys. So if you haven't already subscribed there, get over there. In future that's going to be all videos about coming to the shop that I have, but this channel's all about toys that I'm opening up and having a look at, and nostalgic reviews and anything to do with toys, vintage toys, modern toys. Hopefully you'll get the gist of it as we move on through time. Anyway, back to this. So I'm hoping this second camera's working as well, so that we can get a close-up of this as I'm doing it, and it's not just my face that you see up there. We'll see at the end of it all, won't we? So this has been loaned to me by Buford T. Justice of Smoking the Bandit fame. Stephen, thank you very much for loaning me this to do an unboxing video of. So the box, I can say, is nice and bright. It's a very weighty figure, very weighty, and oh, he looks cool. He looks like a great big massive Hulk type figure, you know, Marvel Legends Hulk type figure, or Marvel Select Hulk actually, more because of the size of it. Now it's by Nacelle Toys. I think the logo's there. No, that's the warning label. Logos, warning labels, they're all the same, aren't they? So there's your logo, Nacelle Toys. They're an indie company who's doing some really cool sort of stuff that other companies aren't touching. So it looks like this is the biggest of the three characters that they've released so far. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not up on Cowboys of Moo Mesa. It's not something that's ever really had any interest to me, and until 2 years ago, bearing in mind I've had a history of buying and selling toys now for 30 years, if not more. I've had a shop for 20 years almost, and until 2 years ago maybe, when for some reason toy collectors started going nuts for Cowboys of Moo Mesa, I'd never heard of them, and I've only heard of them secondhand through collectors that are interested in them. I don't know what they are. I can say that this particular one looks like it's full of character though, and I like that. I don't know much about the original toy line. Was it based on a comic? Was it based on a cartoon? Well, I have no idea. So let me know down in the comments and try and cure myself of this ignorance. I could have gone and done some research, but you tend to only research things that you're interested in. I'm not interested in it because it doesn't do anything for me. I don't know what it is. I mean, you can see from the shelves behind me, I've got quite an eclectic taste when it comes to toys. So yeah, let's get into this. As Buford knows, I do tend to open boxes from the bottom because I find that it means that the boxes can still display better if they haven't been opened at the top. Personal preference, of course. You can open your boxes however you like. You can tear them to shreds for all I care. I open my boxes from the bottom. It's out of the box now. So this is Sheriff Terrorbull. Yeah, Terrorbull. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? No idea. Sheriff would indicate to me that he's a good guy because he's a law enforcement officer. Terrorbull would indicate that he's a bad guy because terror. Okay, well, I could just read this bit. In fact, I'm going to read this bit too, because there's not loads of it. But I'm guessing he's the bad guy. Sheriff Terrorbull, a downright evil heap of sirloin. Ha ha ha. With a temper hotter than a branding iron, casts a long, menacing shadow over Cowtown. Of course. Of course it's Cowtown. Of course it's Cowtown. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? With his horns always pointed towards trouble and a glare that could curdle milk. I love all of the cow puns that they're forcing in here. This greedy bull is as low down and mean-spirited as they come. As the so-called law of Cowtown, he takes orders straight from the corrupt Mayor Oscar Bulloney. Bulloney, of course. Using his badge not to protect, but to swindle, intimidate, and stir chaos, with a little help from his henchman, Boot Hill Buzzard. I'm guessing that's a bird rather than a cow. And Saddle Saw Scorpion. Saddle Saw Scorpion, okay. This scoundrel has an uncanny resemblance to the famous masked bull, and equally despises Marshal Boo Montana with every bone in his bull-headed body. This bull is 100% bad beef. Okay. So I'm guessing Marshal Moo Montana there is the good guy. Yeah. I'm guessing that's his love interest. I'm guessing this is the bad guy, who also doubles up as an out-and-out crook, considering his uncanny resemblance to Masked Bull, who I'm guessing is the bad thing. Okay, I will gently put this down here so as not to damage it. Right, there's no tape holding the box together. The inner packaging, that is. So, I'm trying to be careful with this. So we've got the main figure there with some of the accessories. Comes with 2 head sculpts, which is pretty damn cool. One with a hat and one without. And he's got 2 guns. Well, no, sorry. He's got 2 pistols, 2 handguns, and he's got what looks like a shotgun or a rifle of some kind. And he's also got handcuffs and then smoke effects because he's just been shooting his boom booms. It's pretty sweet looking. Pretty sweet indeed. I'll put that down because it looks like there's still more inside this box, as there's another tray. So we've got what looks to be a cat o' nine tails. Is that the right way up? Nope, that's the right way up. We've got 2 cat o' nine tails there, two whips of some kind. I don't know if they're posable, I don't know if they're bendy. I'll give them a gentle bend, see whether or not they will bend, but if not, I'm not going to go too fast. I don't want to snap them. They're not mine. He's got a pair of... Are they the same? All right, okay, so he wears 1 glove. I hadn't noticed that at first. He wears 1 glove. So he's got 2 gloved hands as extras, and he's got 2 ungloved hands as extras. He's got a stick of dynamite, which is almost like a candy cane, certainly in colours, and he's got a glass of beer. I like this guy. He's cool. Right. I don't know if I'll go through all of the accessories. Okay, well, got the first head out first, because if I try and lift that out, this is going to fall. So that's the unmasked head. He's got quite a menacing looking grin, I've got to say there. That's horns are very wide, aren't they? Very wide out there. Very wide, very long. They're very long. They have a very wide yeah, okay. You see what I mean. You know what I'm getting at. So yeah, that's cool. It's very, very nice. Looks good quality. Very nice paint applications going on there. Awesome. Right, so that's why it would have pulled out the extra thing. So I was wrong apparently. It's not a masked head and an unmasked. It's not a hatted head and an unhatted head. You can take the hat off and put it on either. So we've got a malicious grin, maniacal grin face, and we've got a angry looking face. Okay, cool. Come on. No, so that stock type thing around his neck is fixed. That stays on. Now, what I will say is I've just noticed it. Now, someone might be able to explain this to me, but I'm going to point this out because this is not mine, as I've said. It's someone else's. And if they want to have a word with quality control over at Nacelle, then that's up to them. But I would have assumed this was brown plastic. But I'm guessing it's painted because it has left brown marks on the painted horns. I don't know if the camera's picking that up there, but you can see it. I'll show it to that one as well. You can see it there. Some marks on tops of the horns. I don't know if that will clean off or not, but as you can see, it was there when it came out of the box. Interesting. Let's put that hat back on his head and leave some more marks. There we are. He does look better with the hat on, I have to say. I think he looks a lot better with the hat on. Let's move this out of the way. Pop you there for now. That's it. Right, okay. So, stand him up there. Yeah, he's very much like a Hulk figure. There's some heft there to him. Are we to have a look at the articulation? Let's take a look at the articulation. So arms, we'll start with the arms. Don't break. Please don't be one of those you have to give a hot bath to. So we've got a full 360 twist on the arm, as you can see, as well as a ratchet joint on the shoulder. That lifts up quite high. For such a big figure, that lifts up quite high. And I suppose it goes down low enough. You couldn't expect it to go any lower than that, considering the size of him. That's not bad. Elbow is a double joint, as you can see there. But it's not got a huge amount of range to it. Range. Get it? Home on the Rhine. They can do bad puns, so can I. We've got 360 on the wrist there, as well as a bit of a ratchet joint. I noticed there's a little white mark on his thumb as well. Now the hands, oh, I like that. I like that. The hand is like a rubbery plastic. Let's, see that? There's some flex going on there. Now, considering you're going to be ripping it out and back in and forcing objects into the hand, that is something that all toy manufacturers, Hasbro, Mattel, I'd say Diamond Select, but they're long gone now, NECA, Super 7, this is something you need to pick up on and start doing. That flex is brilliant. That means that it's going to be easy enough to get accessories into and out of the hand. you're not going to have to force it in there, so any painted items are going to end up scratching the paint off and leaving marks on the hand. I like that. That's really, really good. And I would imagine we've got the same kind of range of articulation here as well. Don't want to dig my nails in too far, but there's a bit of a softness to that plastic as well. Not as much as the hands, I don't think, but there is a softness to it. This is something that I think a lot of toy manufacturers should be adopting. Instead of making them brittle, you know, so that you try and move an arm and a leg and they just break. I like that. I do. I like that a lot. So yeah, we've got the same range of articulation on both arms as you would expect. It's going to be the same with the legs, which we'll take a look at now, strangely enough. And he's got his double holsters there as well, which are moulded especially for the guns. It's not just a round hole to drop the gun into. Right, so the leg pops off when you try and turn it, yay! But it is a ball joint and it looks like quite a robust one, so hopefully that should go on nice and easy. Buford, I'm sorry, but you did ask me to review it, and this is a review. Went on nice and easily, very satisfying click there. Okay, so it does have some range of movement. I suppose because of the size of him, it's not going to get a huge amount. But it should get you a few poses out of it. Knee's got a nice double joint on it. I don't like once you've opened it up, you've got this great big hole there. But again, that's because of the size of him, isn't it? And foot. There's quite a bit of motion there. Not a huge range, but some good motion there. You're only going to get it so far around, but then again, it is a hoof, isn't it? What kind of articulation can you expect on a hoof? Head. Now, it does, well, it's on a ball joint. We know it's on a ball joint because we've got the other head there and we can see the empty socket. It's not going to go too far, but that's because he doesn't have a very long neck and he's got this thing going around the back of his neck that's limiting head movement. So is it the kind of figure you're going to be putting into lots of poses? Possibly not. I wouldn't have thought. Would you? What do I think to him? Oh, he's got so. Ooh, before we move on, there's a little bit of articulation going on at the abs. So we've got a twisty waist. Obviously, he's wider than he is deep. Do you know what I mean? So his hips are further apart than his front is from his back, if you know what I mean by that. So you can't have a full 360 pivot there. That's obvious with any figure that's like that. It's quite kind of obvious. But he's got a nice little sway going on there. He's got swagger. I like him, he's got swagger. I've got to say, the paint applications are nice and clean. They really are nice and clean, the paint apps on this. They're minimal, but then again, it's based on a cartoon, so it should be minimal. I think it's based on a cartoon. I don't know. I imagine it's based on a cartoon. It's either a cartoon or a comic, isn't it? Or is it just a toy line? You tell me. If it's based on a cartoon, then I imagine that that's why it's got very simple paint applications. Yeah. I think people who collect these are going to go mad with this. But I feel like there's a kind of preschool aesthetic to this. Do you know what I mean by that? Like something, well, a preschooler kind of toy would feel like. It feels robust. It feels robust. It feels like you could throw it and not break it. I mean, I think the head would pop off, but you'd be able to pop it back on. Don't feel like you'd really damage it if you were to drop it. I think if you were to drop it on any of your other figures, you'd damage them. Yeah, no, paint apps are very nice and crisp on it. I do like that. Let's get his boomsticks out. What his little ones? His pistols. I'm gonna have to change hands for this. I don't know if I want to change hands. Right, okay, I have to just say here at this juncture, having just changed those hands, that's probably one of the best experiences I've had changing hands on an action figure ever. I've broken Hot Toys before trying to change their hands over. I've struggled with Marvel Legends and SH Figure Arts and things like that, and almost broken them or severely stressed the plastic. That piece of cake. Piece of cake. I'll show you why. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. But it's almost the same width all the way around, with a very minor lip at the very end of the peg. I'll show there as well. Yeah. It's not a very severe peg, lip on that peg at all, and it just goes straight in and straight out, and that was really, really easy. There was no fear of breaking it whatsoever, and in all fairness, it's quite a chunky peg anyways. That, yeah, I'm impressed. Nacelle, good job. You know what I'm getting the feeling of here? And it's been uttered about other companies before, and I think it's probably the case with you guys. Collectors making collectibles for other collectors. You're making what you would want, and therefore we're getting what we would want, and I like this. Right, let's see if I still like it once I've tried putting a gun in his hand. Lift him up so hopefully you guys can see. Well, that's as I expected. Having felt what the hands are like, that's brilliant. The other gun, the other pistol, is going to go into the holster. Smooth as butter. And he's going to have a drink. Right, you can't turn the head far enough. He actually... he actually cannot get the glass to his mouth. Pretty bad. Let's change the head over as well. Because, let's face it, he's holding a glass of beer. He should be smiling. He's rooting, he's tooting, he's shooting the sky because he's high on his glass of beer. Oh, there we are. We can just about get it there. Oh, there we are. I like this. This is awesome. This is really cool. Really cool. Yeah. No, he is a lot of fun. Don't know about him other than what I've just read off the back of there. Most of it I've already forgotten. But he's fun. He is really, really fun. I'm liking this. I am liking this a lot. I much prefer that head sculpt. That head sculpt is oozing character. That one's kind of not as much for me anyway. That one's got a lot going on. I like this. Now I think I was posing him and I was having him on my shelf. I think see how easy that hand swap is? It's awesome. See if it'll do it. Oh, it will. Yeah. I think that's how I'd have him. Gun slung over the shoulder while down in his drink. I like that. Yeah. Buford, you told me what you paid for this. I'm not going to say it on screen, but I think you got an absolute bargain. I think this is worth every penny of what you paid and more. I can see this being almost double that. So well done, mate. I think this is brilliant. I really do. I've got no connection to the IP, no connection to this character, but he is an awful lot of fun. Like I say, I'm not going to go through all the accessories. We can see how he's holding things. He's having no problem with the hand swaps. Head swaps is easy enough. Any limb that pops off this by accident because it's all ball joints is going to go straight on, nice and easy. It's got lovely paint applications. It's got limited range of articulation due to his size. It's what you would expect. But he's a whole lot of fun. I think if I was going to give it a rating, it's got to be an 8 out of 10 at least. At least. He's pretty damn cool. Very, very sweet. I'd have no problem. I've just dropped the gun out of his hand. Sorry, it's fine. I'd have no problem myself adding this to my own collection. Even though it's not something I'm really familiar with. Just because of how fun this is. Yeah, that's sweet as that. Sweet as a nut. Okay, I'll leave it at that, guys. So thanks for watching. Give the video a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Ring that notification if you do subscribe so that you get notified when there is a new video. And until next time, it's a bye-bye from me.